My name is Gaia Athena and today I'm bringing you a book review on Bosy Positive Power by Megan Jayne Crabbe. I read the Dutch translation of this book, but the original is English. This book is about the body positive power movement, and I'm going to try to explain. This book is about how we should celebrate and love all bodies. This book has a very important message in that you should love your body regardless of whether you're thin or not, regardless of your skin color, sexual orientation, physical disability, anything like that. It's about that all bodies deserve to be loved and all bodies are good and beautiful the way they are. And it's about the diet culture. It's a bit difficult to explain this book exactly because, well, there's a whole book on the subject. The author has had an eating disorder, and in the book she also talks about this quite a bit. This book might be triggering to you if you find it difficult to read about eating disorders or food or things like that. In that case, maybe look into the book a bit more before you decide to read it. What's actually nice about this book is that there are specific sections in it that the author gives trigger warnings for. Now this is the Dutch version, I don't know if you can see that, but where this little bow tie is, this is where it says begin to read and stop to read, and those sections are more triggering than the rest of the book, so she does give trigger warnings for those sections especially. I read the whole book. I don't have an eating disorder, so it was not triggering for me to read it, but I wanted to give that warning out there for anyone who might be affected by that. I think this book has a really interesting message, even though I have kind of trouble explaining to you what it is about. You could look up a synopsis if maybe that tells you a little bit more, but I don't want to just read it out to you, aside from the fact that it's in Dutch, so I'd have to then translate it. And this book taught me a lot. I first learned about this book when I saw it on, I think, a Dutch blogger's social media. And later on, once she had read the book and reviewed it, I read her article on it. I will admit, I bought the Dutch book because I preferred the Dutch cover to the English one. Or what the English one that my bookshop had available. I don't know if there's different UK and US covers and all that kind of stuff. And I'm actually quite glad I bought this in Dutch because I think in that sense the text spoke to me more. I don't know if that makes sense, but I usually prefer to read books in English if the original was in English. But I think this is really well translated based from what I could tell. And it just, yeah, it just, because the society I live in, like in my daily real life outside, is Dutch, so, and the newspapers here, and of course that's Dutch, so anyway, I like this book a lot. It taught me a lot. It has a very important message that I agree with, that all bodies deserve to be loved. The book is, for example, talks about how in many media, magazines, films, all that kind of stuff, you usually see people with a very thin body type, sometimes photoshopped in like magazine covers and stuff like that. Yeah, I find it hard to describe this book or really talk about it. I think it's a very important book, but I can also see that there are probably a lot of people who don't understand it. For example, like if I were to try and talk to certain people about it that I know, like acquaintances, or, well, I'm not gonna name any names. Nobody here on BookTube, I mean people that I know in like real life. Yeah, I think I would find it difficult. This might be a good time where I talk about my own, I'm gonna put this book down for a second because it's a bit heavy. I used to be really thin. When I was a teenager, I was extremely thin. And this was because I just didn't feel hunger. This isn't all. This is, I believe, an autism thing, in that I never felt hungry. I didn't really feel pressure to eat. Things didn't taste that nicely. I didn't like many foods I didn't like. And I was taught to then eat at specific times, because if I didn't, I started to feel really crappy, but I didn't understand why. I would get really cranky, and I didn't understand what this was. So my family taught me to eat with them specific meals, specific times, and that helped. So I was really thin up to about maybe 18, 17, I'm not sure. I think 17. Then I started to take medication because I was depressed, and I gained some weight from there. What the medication also did was change my hunger feeling. So for the first time in my life, then I felt hungry, and my hunger feeling is, and this is also an autism thing, that it doesn't develop gradually. It just, I can be not hungry one moment, and pretty soon after that I am suddenly quite hungry, and so there's not much of an in-between. Anyway, so I took medications, and over the years I gained weight. Now I am definitely no longer thin. Now I am quite a bit bigger. Anyway, so when I was growing up as a little girl, I didn't really experience that much pressure from like having to lose weight or anything. Like, she described, the author, that when she was, I can't remember, but like a young girl or a teenage girl, or, well, I can't quite remember, but that she felt the pressure to lose weight, and that wasn't there for me, because like I said, for most of my teenage years, and also when I was younger, I didn't weigh much. My parents were glad when I was eating. Anyway, so but of course, since like 18 and up, once I started to gain more and more weight, I have definitely had signals from other people and society that the way I look is not okay. That's, yeah, as a bigger woman, you do find that. Sorry, I'm quite tired right now, and I've been feeling very anxious today. I suffer from anxiety. I'm actually like, I'm filming this video right now, but I still have several reviews uploaded that I haven't posted yet, because I read a lot of books, and I don't want to put up too many videos in too short amount of time, so I'm spreading them out. But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed this book. This is gonna be one of my longer reviews, I think. I like the book a lot. I will say, yeah, it could be triggering for certain people, and not everybody might be interested in it. That's fair enough. I thought it was good. I think it's an important message, and one that deserves to be heard. But I know I'm not someone. I'm usually not very good at convincing people, or like far off family members or something. I'm not very good at convincing other people of my point of view, which is what it is. Yeah, but it is interesting to think about, because, for example, losing weight is something that a lot of people often talk about. So yeah, anyway, I don't know. I'm hoping there is something useful in all the footage I just took. Yeah, I enjoyed the book. It was interesting, an important message. I'm glad I read it. It's definitely food for thought. I'm gonna think about it some more and process it, and possibly at some point like reread certain bits, all those things. Thank you very much for watching this video. Bye!